Thank you for joining me. Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. The headlines. Court grants EMERINE KABANSHI bail so as to participate in elections and vote. ECZ officially bans political rallies. Teachers to hold campaign against indebtedness, resulting in no money in their pockets. In international news, disaster feared as fire hit cargo ship sinks off Sri Lanka coast. And in sports, copper bullets arrive in Dakar ahead of Senegal showdown. Join me with the main news in detail after this commercial.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 07:30 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 09:30 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chilua comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel. And now the main news in detail. The Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ has with immediate effect suspended all political rallies owing to an increase in the number of COVID-19 cases in the country. Chief Electoral Officer Christus Shindano has however clarified that the Commission has not barred political campaigns but political rallies. Mr. Shindano says political rallies have been attributed to as the major cause of the increase in the pandemic, citing the ECZ has an obligation to safeguard the lives of the people. Mr. Shindano adds that political parties must instead use paper campaign materials, social media platforms, the media and door-to-door campaigns to air their campaign messages. The Chief Electoral Officer has however disputed allegations that the August general elections will be postponed.
Zambia is for the first time since 1991 expected to hold its general elections without political parties holding public rallies. At a media briefing held in Lusaka, Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ Chief Electoral Officer Patrick Nshindano announced that the Commission has suspended political rallies owing to the increase in the number of COVID-19 cases being recorded in the country.
Having duly considered the submissions by the stakeholders, today we have come back with a position following these engagements on what we consider to be the best for the country, citizens, and indeed the conduct of the 12th August 2021 general election. As a Commission, we would like to announce that we are in support of this recommendation by the Technical Committee and has since suspended campaign rallies with immediate effect.
Mr. Shindano has however clarified that political parties will continue with their campaigns, but using other means such as door-to-door campaigns, distribution of flyers, social media as well as media platforms.
It is campaign rallies that have been suspended, not campaigns. There is a huge difference between the two. Campaigns will continue as provided for in law for the period stipulated before the pause, which is 3 months. Additionally, we have taken this action following the increase in the number of COVID-19 cases in Zambia and the country has been in a late state since March 2020.
And Mr. Shindano has also refuted allegations attributed to him by some sector of the media, where he is quoted of having said the August general election will be postponed due to the increase in the COVID-19 cases.
Issues of elections are a constitutional matter, and no one just wakes up to postpone an election. This issue has been blown out of context, as we were simply advising stakeholders on the seriousness of the pandemic and the risk it poses to elections. Therefore, I would like to advise that the 2021 general election will go ahead as planned, and every well-meaning Zambian must treat the circulating misinformation with the highest contempt. Ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate this point. The only way that elections can be postponed is if a state of emergency is invoked.
And Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Technical Services, Dr. Kennedy Malama, adds that the country recorded 825 new confirmed cases with 4 deaths in the last 24 hours and has pleaded with the public to intensify observing the 5 golden rules.
The country that today in the last 24 hours we recorded 825 new cases of COVID-19. We also report 48 new admissions to our facilities, giving us a total of 184 people admitted countrywide. 70% of those are on oxygen. So indeed we are seeing a situation where the total number of new cases in the last 1 week or so has continued to increase. 3 months ago we were able to project, and those of you who remember, we warned the country that the third wave is likely to engulf Zambia, informed by the laxity we've seen in this country.
Whether we want to hear it or not, COVID-19 is a killer and is here to stay. But also, people have to exercise their democratic right by voting in the August general elections, while political parties have to sell themselves to the electorate in one way or the other. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
In a related development, the Catholic Church on the Copper Belt has also banned a political campaign in their churches. In a memo addressed to all priests, religious men and women, and all lay faithfuls of the Catholic Diocese of Ndola by Bishop of Ndola, Benjamin Piri, he has directed that no politician should be given an opportunity to speak to the congregants in the name of greeting them. Bishop Piri has further directed that no political meetings should be entertained outside the church's premises. Political regalia has also been banned within the church premises. Bishop Piri says any politician going to any of their churches should be treated as an ordinary Christian faithful seeking the presence of God. Transparency International Zambia has charged that President Edgar Lungu's directive to ban rallies interferes with the work of the ECZ, whose mandate is to set the rules for how the electoral process should be managed. TIZ Executive Director Maurice Nyambe says President Edgar Lungu must be cognizant of the fact that he is also a candidate in the 12th August election, and it is unacceptable for him to set ground rules of a contest in which he himself is an interested participant. Mr. Nyambe says the ECZ already gave guidance on how political parties should campaign and advised that parties should consider not holding rallies. He has since reminded the Patriotic Front government, the ECZ and the Zambia Police Service that a level playing field is a foundation for a free and fair election, and that they must do everything in their power to create the level playing field.
I would like to condemn in the strongest possible terms the suggestion by the Zambia National Public Health Institute that the 2021 elections could potentially be postponed. We think that that is a very reckless and irresponsible statement to make. You need to realize that the election date, as well as the holding of elections itself, is enshrined in the Constitution of Zambia as amended in 2016. And so any departure from that would actually be an abrogation of the supreme law of the land. We would therefore like to call upon all well-meaning Zambians, including all political parties, agencies to strongly distance themselves from this notion that the election could be postponed, because we do not want to abrogate the supreme law of the land.
In other news, the Lusaka Magistrate Court has acquitted a 53-year-old Chisamba white farmer Douglas Watt in a case he was accused of sodomizing a male juvenile and being in possession of obscene materials. This is in a matter where Mr. Watt was facing 1 count of unnatural offences and 1 count of obscene material and denied the charge. When the matter came up for ruling on case or no case to answer before Lusaka Magistrate Lamek Mwale, he ruled that the prosecution team had failed to establish a prima facie against Mr. Watt to warrant him to be placed on his defense. The court has ruled that the evidence adduced by the state was so manifestly unreliable and was so discredited in cross-examination that no reasonable tribunal properly directed itself would safely convict Mr. Watt. The court has since used Section 206 of the Criminal Procedure Court Cap 88 to dismiss the 2 charges against the accused and acquitted him. Lusaka Magistrate Lamek Mwale has granted jailed former Community Development Minister EMERINE KABANSHI cash bail in the sum of 50,000 kwacha with 2 working sureties from reputed institutions in the like sum of 100,000 kwacha each in their recognizance. KABANSHI was last week Friday convicted and sentenced to a 2-year jail sentence on 2 counts of willfully failure to follow procedure or guidance relating to engaging and amending the contract between the Ministry of Community Development and Zampost for payments of social cash transfer money. Earlier, when the matter came up for hearing of bail pending trial, one of the things submitted by KABANSHI through her lawyer was that her being a politician, the court should admit her to bail so that she can participate in the campaign and vote.
The 24 months that she was supposed to spend behind the chilled prison of Lusaka has been cut short after the magistrate court exercised its discretion in favor of granting her a 50,000 kwacha cash bail pending appeal with 2 working sureties from reputable institutions in the like sum of 100,000 kwacha each in their own recognizance. Former Community Development Minister EMERINE KABANSHI earlier this week filed in an affidavit before court for bail pending appeal, challenging the 2-year sentence that was imposed on her by Magistrate Lamek Mwale last week Friday on offences of willful failure to comply with the law, applicable procedure, or guidelines relating to the procurement of the social cash transfer program. The former lawmaker, who was seeking the court's discretion to temporarily free her pending appeal to the Lusaka High Court, relied on 3 grounds of the appeal, which among them was that the court erred in the law and fact when it found that she willfully failed to comply with the law and applicable procedural guidelines relating to the procurement by extending the scope of coverage between Zampost, Zambia Postal Service Corporation, and the Ministry of Community Development to include 3 provinces and 2 districts on the social cash transfer program, and re-engaging Zampost as payment service provider for the social cash transfer program after the contract was terminated. And when the case came up for hearing of the bail application, the convict's lawyer submitted that the appeal would disclose exceptional circumstances, hence the court should exercise its discretion in her favor and grant her the bail. The lawyer also submitted that there is a likelihood that by the time the appeal is heard, KABANSHI would have served a substantial part of the sentence. Other submissions raised by Ms. KABANSHI's lawyer, Jonas Zimba, was that the court should take judicial notice that she is a politician, and being an election year, she wants to exercise a desire to take part in the campaigns and decision-making on the 12th August 2021, hence pray that the court grants her the application. However, despite several submissions raised, the state objected to the application. But Magistrate Mwale, in his ruling, said he holds the view that the convict's application has disclosed circumstances that would warrant the court to exercise its discretion in favor of granting her the bail pending appeal. And speaking to the media shortly after her court hearing, the former lawmaker thanked those who sympathized with her.
The men and women of God who've been praying for me, and also to thank my family for all the support that they have given me, and also my lawyers.
Earlier, when the case was stood for hearing, KABANSHI was seen entering her black luxurious vehicle as she was being taken back to the cells. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Patriotic Front PF presidential running mate Professor Nkanduluo has asked the Constitutional Court to dismiss the petition against her by Dr. Sishua because she has not in any way breached the Constitution. This is in a matter where Dr. Sishua has petitioned 15 presidential running mates, among them herself. Dr. Sishua is seeking a declaration that the court quash their nomination because they did not meet the required demand in line with the provision of law which demands that a presidential running mate must also meet the required demand just as presidential candidates. In her answer to the petitioner, Professor Luo submits that the chairperson of the commission, who is the returning officer in an election to the office of the president, is the only person vested by the Constitution with the authority or power to reject or accept a nomination of the presidential candidate and his or her running mate. She further states that a challenge to the constitutionality of the electoral process Regulation 2016, specifically Regulation 11.3, cannot be met at a late stage as the petitioner is hopelessly out of time. She adds that the assertion by the petitioner that she is not supported by the required threshold of registered voters from each province is not factual. Zambians have been urged to take advantage of their current situation to utilize agriculture in order to uplift their livelihoods and contribute to national development. Former Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Bob Sichinga says people must be discouraged from depending on handouts by educating them on the importance of agriculture to earn a living and contribute towards poverty eradication. He made these remarks during the just-ended Camnet Agribusiness Conference held in Lusaka. Agriculture generates about 22% of GDP and provides a livelihood for more than 60% of the population.
Agriculture remains a key priority sector in the growth and poverty reduction agenda of Zambia. Over 60% of the population derives its livelihood from agriculture. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, agriculture has proved to be resilient, but more can still be done based on Zambia's huge potential to maximize sector growth. Camnet TV and its partners have been driving the agenda to help people appreciate the opportunities readily available in the sector. And during the just-ended Camnet TV Agribusiness Conference, a number of issues came out.
What is government response to that particular situation? Because government has realized that there are droughts happening. And how do we then address that particular topic? As I speak now, we have formed what is known as a task force that is looking at preparation of an irrigation master plan. We need to irrigate our fields. We need to harness this water. We need to harvest this water. It's absolutely cardinal. And irrigation goes hand in glove with a mechanization strategy. We cannot continue relying on the hand hoe. We need to mechanize our system throughout the value chain, whether it's at production level when you are tilling the soil or indeed when you are doing your processing. We have to mechanize.
Former Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Bob Sichinga says the handout culture must be discouraged by encouraging people to venture into agriculture.
Because these individuals here will need that, not to buy cars, no, to buy seed, to buy instruments, to build markets, so we can make a difference. Can you imagine if I said to those cadres who want me to buy them alcohol, those voters who want me to buy them alcohol, I said no, for every amount that I would pay for your alcohol, I will offer to you to buy seed for you. When we have a leadership that fails to recognize that and they think throwing money around at voters is what is going to win them, they may even win the vote, but they will not win my confidence, they will not win my respect.
Citizens were also advised to look within themselves in order to prosper.
You can't wait and say, until this person gives me so much, until I start doing this, until this, that's when I'll have an advantage. No. Even when you are in the deepest hole, that is your advantage. So, the greatest advantage you have is your current situation. And it's from there that you can spring up to greater things. This situation we are in Zambia, this is our greatest advantage. And thus, we need to think about how we can take advantage of the current situation to prosper our country.
One can safely say, unlike other sectors in agriculture, you are bound to win, because if you cannot sell it, at least you can eat it. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Movement for Democratic Change MDC President Felix Mtati has told Camnet TV News that the opposition alliance is founded on the spirit of working together based on shared principles to develop the country. Mr. Mtati says unity is necessary to avoid splitting votes in the August 12th general elections. Mr. Mtati says their attention is in pushing a common goal to try out new ideologies for prosperity would not be diverted. The opposition leader says their focus is to consolidate the party's structure to rally behind the alliance. The UPND alliance is headed by Hakainde Hichilema, whose running mate is Mtale Nalmango.
There have been numerous calls from the people of Zambia, from all walks of life, that the opposition must be able to come together in order to avoid splitting the vote. If we go as individual units, we will not be able to secure victory. So the basic principle of the alliance is that political parties coming together, and for us founded on the basis of shared principles, shared common values. As MDC, we are in the UPND alliance, and we're urging all our members and structures to go out there and vigorously campaign for the UPND alliance. And this will require a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice, and equally important that the members, when they're on the ground, they must give it everything that they have got, and they must leave nothing in the tank.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more news after this.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Every day for me means hard work. Going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
President Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF are modernizing Bulungu Harbour in Northern Province in order to handle more cargo and passenger traffic and create more employment for the surrounding community. Vote Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
It's your friends.
I insist.
Your drama.
So you think you can talk about my dad like that? You're in charge.
And intrigue.
Are you out for good or what? What do you want? Dare you say that to me, eh?
Your heroes. It's your moment with your stories. Made at home for your home. 'Cause great stories start on DSTV.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel. Welcome back. We'll continue with the rest of the main news. National Action for Quality Education in Zambia, NAKES, says it will soon launch a campaign against indebtedness among teachers. NAKES Executive Director Aaron Chansa says 90% of public service teachers are heavily indebted while their pay slips are chalked. Mr. Chansa states that the teachers owe banks, financial institutions, and individual money lenders a lot of money, which has negatively affected teachers and resulted in direct effects to the delivery of lessons in classes. He adds that the debt situation has further adversely impacted households, creating untold detriments, which has undoubtedly lowered productivity. Meanwhile, the National Union of Public Educators of Zambia, NUPEZ, National Secretary Nelson Mwale, has acknowledged the fact that teachers are heavily indebted, but has challenged NAKES to stick to their mandate and not interfere with labor matters, which the unions have been protecting.
Teachers in Zambia have been a source of inspiration in building houses and driving vehicles. These were the words of a stakeholder who wondered why some civil servants have continued to complain over the hard economy and the rise in the prices of some commodities. While it is true that teachers play an important role in shaping the future of any country, their levels of indebtedness has been affecting their contribution to the learning fraternity. This sad development came to light at a media briefing held in Lusaka, where the National Action for Quality Education has planned to launch a campaign against the indebtedness among teachers. According to NAKES, teachers owe banks, financial institutions, and individual money lenders a lot of money, which has negatively affected teachers and resulted in direct effect to the delivery of lessons in classes.
Most teachers are resorting to borrowing as a means of survival. Because of owing too much, they cannot make ends meet, economic ends meet, but become unable to concentrate on teaching, always looking for ways away from the classroom to cover for their and civil society organizations.
Mr. Chansa has also cited financial literacy among teachers as a contributing factor to their indebtedness and has questioned why the banks, lending institutions, government and teachers' union are not shaken about this sad reality.
Financial literacy is indeed a life skill that every one of us should be able to grasp for good financial well-being. Ladies and gentlemen, lack of financial literacy affects one's ability to provide for themselves, family, community, and impairs attitudes towards money and investments. To mitigate against this ugly state of affairs among our most important human resource, the teachers, NAKES is today announcing a national campaign against financial indebtedness among our teachers.
But when contacted for a comment, National Union for Public Educators of Zambia says NAKES has to stick to its mandate even as it endeavors to speak on this matter in order not to underrate the duties of the unions.
The teaching cadre is not the only workforce in the civil service that is highly indebted. Equally, these other comrades are highly indebted, and so our financial literacy must be holistic, not only looking at teachers, but holistic, because a number of civil servants, not only teachers, are highly indebted, and that's why we are saying we agree with NAKES that a campaign must be launched, but it must be within the confines of their mandate without going into aspects that are to do with the teacher unions guided by the provisions of CAP 269.
Will the introduction of financial management courses in universities and college curriculum reduce on the tendency of borrowing unreservedly? Or what is it that should be done to enable civil servants avoid overborrowing? Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Residents Doctors Association has called off their go-slow due to the rising cases of COVID-19. Addressing the media Thursday evening, Association President Dr. Brian Samba says the rising cases of COVID-19 needs concerted efforts from all medical practitioners, hence calling off the sitting-in protest despite government's failure to meet any of their demands. Dr. Samba, however, says their decision will be reviewed in 2 weeks' time. The Resident Doctors Association of Zambia president has also made some demands, among them that the doctors should not be harassed anymore by the police service. The resident doctors have been protesting for 7 days now. The Zambia Congress of Trade Unions ZCTU has acknowledged that the labor movement has a crucial role to play in realizing gender equality in the country. Union General Secretary Cosmas Mukuka has since implored its affiliate union to take lead by the mainstream gender issues in their activities. He says women must be included in order to make progress on the agenda to soar industrialization and eradicating poverty. The union leader also noted the need to start rebranding Women's Committee into gender committees to make the gender more encompassing. He met the remarks when he officiated a workshop for trade union leaders themed on mainstream gender into trade union activities in Lusaka Thursday.
Colleagues, you will recall that the Beijing platform for action reinforced previous efforts of promoting gender equality and further established gender mainstreaming as a global strategy for promoting gender equality. So much happened in the Beijing conference, so much of it is still not fulfilled, which we are supposed to fulfill through mainstreaming gender. The Beijing platform for action further recognized that much progress has been made towards identifying the negative impact of women inequalities in some areas of economic development as regards to obstacles in the economic empowerment of women and other issues to eliminate poverty amongst women. In this regard, I wish to emphasize that gender mainstreaming is recognized as a key to achieving not only gender equality, but women empowerment, but also each of the other MDGs. In addition to this, their contribution to household as women, the contribution to household income, also through their work and other things, make them be key actors in the eradication of extreme poverty.
The Civil Society Constitution Agenda SISCA has condemned what it has described as an unconstitutional arrest of former police officer Jason Msonda Chipepo, who staged a lone protest at Zambia Police Force headquarters in Lusaka on Wednesday. Mr. Chipepo was protesting against what he considered intimidation of citizens and the abuse of the police service by Inspector General of Police Kakoma Kanganja. SISCA chairperson Judith Mlenga wonders why the police arrested someone who was simply exercising his right to expression in a peaceful way. Ms. Mlenga says Article 26 of the Zambian Constitution guarantees the right to freedom of peaceful assembly. Ms. Mlenga has reminded the police that the Constitution, which guarantees the rights of freedom of assembly, is the supreme law of the land, hence the Public Order Act cannot be superior to the Constitution. Mr. Chipepo has since been released from police custody and has thanked police officers from Kabwata Police Station for their professional conduct.
Notes that the executive and its agents continuously deny its deliberate squeezing of the civic space, while we Zambians wake up to and witness these arbitrary arrests and illegal detentions every single day. Explanations of police conducting investigations are trite, since Zambia has had a police service since before independence, and we've never seen this rate of wanton deprivation of liberties, and including extrajudicial killings. SISCA wishes to remind the police that the Constitution, which guarantees the rights of freedom of assembly, is a supreme law of the land. Therefore, the Public Order Act cannot be superior to the Constitution. Under the Public Order Act, the police are only under a duty to regulate public meetings, assemblies, and processions strictly for the purposes of preserving peace, public peace and order. There was no breach of peace and order during Mr. Chipepo's exercise of his constitutional rights, and so the police are in breach of the Constitution by arresting him. SISCA therefore demands the immediate release of Mr. Chipepo.
We take our second set of commercial. Coming next is international and sports news.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
Making GoTV payments is easier than you think. But first, you have to log in. First of all, open the GoTV app, then select your country. Fill in your surname or cell phone number, and then your IUC number. That's it. You can log in. Welcome to your home page. Now click on Pay Now. Select Make a Payment. Next, you will be asked how much you wish to pay. You can do this by clicking on the space next to the kwacha sign and entering the desired amount. All the details of your payment, including account details and amount you are paying, will appear. Make sure everything is in order. Now click on the Ting button under Choose Payment option. When the Ting window pops up, click on OK and then Pay Now. Now, select Preferred Card Payment or Mobile Money option. When the Make a Payment window opens, click on the pink Pay Now button. Now, you simply authorize the payment by clicking on Send Prompt, which will send a prompt to your mobile number. Once you've received the prompt on your phone, simply enter the unique PIN and you are done. GoTV. Love it.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 07:30 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 09:30 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chilua comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel. Thank you for staying with us. We now get into our international items. Another possible coronavirus-linked corruption scandal is embroiling South Africa's government as there are serious allegations of wrongdoing against Health Minister Zweli Mkhize. Last week, media reports said his ex-spokesperson and former personal assistant reportedly received millions of rands in regular payments, which is linked to a communication contract around COVID-19. Mkhize has admitted money from his department reached a company called Digital Vibes, a company run by his former campaign media manager, was irregularly awarded. Among the suspected irregularities is a $217,000 United States payment to the company for setting up an interview between the minister and the national broadcaster for the announcement of the second wave. Mr. Mkhize has denied any personal links and said he did not benefit from the contract. The scandal comes as President Cyril Ramaphosa has promised a crackdown on corruption as the ANC faces pressure following the reign of the former President Jacob Zuma, who was forced to resign in 2018 over graft scandals.
Another possible coronavirus-linked corruption scandal embroiling South Africa's government. Serious allegations of wrongdoing against Health Minister Zweli Mkhize. Last week, media reports said his ex-spokesperson and former personal assistant reportedly received millions of rand in irregular payments, which were linked to a communication contract around COVID. McKinsey has admitted that the communications tender from his department to a company called Digital Vibes, a company run by his former campaign media manager, was irregularly awarded. Among the suspected irregularities is a $217,000 payment to the company for setting up an interview between the minister and the national broadcaster for the announcement of the second wave of COVID-19. McKinsey has denied any personal links and said he did not benefit from the contract. The scandal comes as President Cyril Ramaphosa has promised a crackdown on corruption as the ANC faces pressure. He's also said that those involved in COVID-19 wrongdoing will be dealt with harshly and appropriately.
A cargo ship carrying tons of toxic chemicals and plastic is sinking off Sri Lanka's west coast, threatening to spill oil into surrounding waters. Conservationists have described it as one of Sri Lanka's worst environmental disaster after plastic pallets from the Singapore-registered MV Express Pearl washed up on shore. The ship had been on fire since May 20th before the blaze was extinguished. Rescue teams had been trying to tow the ship out to the deep sea when it began to sink off Sri Lanka's main port of Colombo. The disaster threatens the country's fishing and tourism industry.
After 2 weeks of burning off Sri Lanka's coast, the MV Express Pearl is sinking. The vessel still holds 350 tonnes of oil in its fuel tanks. If the Navy and salvage experts can't keep it afloat, it will devastate the surrounding waters and marine life. Their efforts on Wednesday ended with the ship's stern sinking to the ocean floor.
If the ship sinks, the oil on the ship will leak to the ocean and the beach, and our fishermen will lose their jobs. We cannot allow that.
The MV Express Pearl was sailing from India to Singapore, carrying a load of chemicals and plastic when it caught fire last month. The ship was carrying nearly 1,500 containers. Many were destroyed in the fire. Others fell into the sea, polluting the water and large stretches of Sri Lanka's beaches. Soldiers were deployed to clean up tons of plastic pallets that washed up on the coastline. The pallets themselves have already created one of the biggest environmental crises here in decades.
These are really tiny and opaque in color, and they look like fish eggs to fish, marine birds and animals, and they ingest them. And these can really, gather toxins and pollutants in the water and become really toxic. And these chemicals can leach out into the bodies of the marine animals that consume it.
And if marine life is under threat, so is Sri Lanka's fishing industry. Authorities have already imposed a fishing ban along 80 kilometres of coastline, affecting more than 5,000 fishing boats.
The ship has dealt the death blow to our lives. We can't go to the sea, which means we can't make a living.
Sri Lanka's government has promised legal action to seek compensation from the owners of the Singapore-flagged ship.
Similar incidents have taken place in other countries. When that incident took place, those governments have taken steps to get compensation. We hope to get compensation in accordance with local and international law. We will never give up on that effort.
The immediate concern is how to avoid a massive oil spill that would turn this environmental crisis into a disaster. With the stern now stuck on the seabed, how salvagers plan to do that is unclear. Charlotte Ballas, Al Jazeera.
We now get into our sports item. The Copper Bullets have arrived in Dakar, Senegal ahead of Saturday's international friendly match against the Teranga Lions. The Chipolopolo boys, who left for Senegal on Tuesday aboard an Ethiopian airline flight, slept in Addis Ababa on Tuesday before proceeding to Dakar on Wednesday morning. Zambia touched down at the Blaise Danog International Airport at 17:30 hours on Wednesday after a brief stopover in Bamako, Mali. The Sabian Wolf is without several players. Some are tied up with club engagements and others are injured, while some have personal issues to sort out. The list of players includes a Sweden best duo of Edward Chilufya and Emmanuel Banda, South African best duo of Roderick Kabwe and Augustin Malenga, skipper Kabaso Chongo Raliwalia, Cletus Chama and Labambo Msonda, who all could not make the trip due to the above-mentioned reasons. Mitchell Elia excused Patson Daka and Enoch Mwepu. Zambia will play Senegal on Saturday in the first of 3 international friendly matches that will see the Chipolopolo play Benin in Cotonou on June 8th before heading to Abidjan to clash with Sudan.
Well, I'm happy to work. I'm just looking forward to work. Yeah. Just looking forward to work. No more talking, no more anything. I just wanna work and be in the squad. Every game needs to be won. We have to win this game. We have to play with our hearts. We have to play with everything that we have. I think it's up to us, the players now. The coach has done everything. The management have done everything. It's up to us, the players, to show on the field that we need to win. We need to take the country forward. It's very important. We haven't done well. So playing with such teams as Senegal, Guinea, it's very important because we need to see ourselves as we need to win. It's a giant in terms of football. So I think looking at our local professionals also, they need to get used to meeting such big players like Mane and all those big players that they have. The support has been amazing from our Zambians. We've disappointed them, but they've been supporting us, and we must just continue to support us. This is our game, this is our country to all of us, and we just need support from them and produce results at the right time, God's time.
Well, that sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. Court grants EMERINE KABANSHI bail so as to participate in elections and vote. ECZ officially bans political rallies. Teachers to hold campaign against indebtedness, resulting in no money in their pockets. In international news, disaster feared as a fire-hit cargo ship sinks off Sri Lanka coast. And in sports, copper bullets arrive in Dakar ahead of Senegal showdown. Before we go, here's our Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from the book of Colossians 3 verse 16 to 17, and it reads, "Let the message about the Messiah dwell richly among you, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, and singing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs with gratitude in your hearts to God. And whatever you do in word or in deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, giving thanks to God and the Father through him." Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Continue watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Pleasant viewing.